Hello and welcome to Tea and a Buddy podcast with me, Dominic.
And me, Erica.
And on today's, we're going to be talking about quintessential things about Britain and America. And I've got a list of both, and Erica's got a list.
Well, yeah, we're going to see if we didn't look at each other's lists.
We didn't. This is our first kind of like thing. I mean, I don't know who's going to go first. I mean, do you want to go first or?
Okay, yeah, mine are really random.
Really random?
Really random.
Really
random. They're quintessentially American, but they're not like, I don't think they're like the first three things you would.
Well, the first three things about America, yeah. I mean, my first list was the American one too, actually.
Okay. So
what's your first one?
My first point is drive-throughs. I think drive-throughs are very American. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, maybe you get them other places, but America is a big country. We spend a lot of time in cars, so it's just like they try to make things fast. You can just drive through. You don't have to and you can get back on the road, you know?
Yeah, get back on the road. Driving is one thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is kind of like specific to Texas, I guess, because we live in Texas and we haven't really traveled too much in the States.
I think they have drive-through.
Well, yeah, I know, but like driving and stuff. I mean, up in New England, maybe there's not a lot of it, you know, maybe up in the Pacific Northwest either.
Well, I think probably anywhere they have the space to actually have the little drive-through section. Because
they stick a drive-through on everything, really, won't they?
Yeah. You got drive-through banks. You just pull up and you don't have to get out of the car. Do you have those in Britain?
Not drive-through banks, as far as I know, no.
So you pull
my information is like 10 or 11 years out of date now.
When was the last time we were in Britain?
Yeah, but I mean, it's not like living there, we were only there for a month. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't get a full acquaintance of what's going on. I mean, I didn't even know they changed the pound coin until about a year or so after they'd done it.
Oh, you just made me think of something else I could have put on my American list. Okay. Anyway, but yeah, so we have drive-through banks. You pull up, you talk to the teller. We call them tellers.
And it's through a thing, and you got the tube and everything.
They're sitting inside the bank, and they have like a big glass window, and they can see you out in your car.
It's bulletproof too.
You push a button. Yeah, it's bulletproof. You push a button, and you.
Believe me, we've tried several times to shoot through that thing, and it just won't go.
And you speak to them through a speaker. They send a little canister down. You put in your cash or whatever if you're going to make a deposit.
Card, yeah.
Or your card if you're going to withdraw. Yeah. And yeah, so we have the drive-through banks. We even have drive-through liquor stores, which I do not understand whatsoever.
Well, nobody understands that. I mean, that would never fly in Britain.
I'm assuming it's just for the convenience of buying it, and you're not still supposed to obviously actually open it while you're in the car.
Well, there's like open container laws and stuff over here.
Yeah.
Because there's no drink driving law, is there?
We have drive-through laundromats. So you just pull up and you hand them your clothes.
They come,
they come out
and they put it in the machine.
Oh, it's not a laundromat; it's a dry cleaners.
Oh, well, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I mean, why does it make sense?
I mean, it makes sense because why I wouldn't hand some random person my
dirty clothes,
and expect them to put them in the wash and then
that's what a dry cleaners is, though, isn't it?
Well, I mean, it's dry cleaners for like a suit or something, something that can be dry cleaned. It's not like dirty underwear and
you might have your underwear dry cleaned, who knows?
That's another question for everyone. Who has their underwear dry cleaned, honestly?
But it's dry cleaners. Sorry, I said laundromat, I meant dry cleaners. Yeah, so you pull up, they come out, get your clothes. I guess I don't really know. We've only I have never used it actually, but my mom has used it. I don't know if you have
one, didn't she?
Well, not a drive up one. Yeah, I mean, years ago when she was like a teenager. Yeah. But I don't know. So I don't know, you just sit in your car and you just point out areas you want them to be sure and get out, or I don't really know how it works.
It's like any drive-through, like fast food. You say, okay, I've got this. and it needs this done, it needs that done, and blah 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 blah, and then they just go and you drive off and do it.
Yeah. And then when you come pick it
It's
up,
like
I think you have a tag, and they come out and you hand it to them, and they go in and get it and bring it out to you. Why can't you go into the place? I don't know.
Because people, they don't want, America is slowly becoming to that thing where they're just going to be
in
like in
Wall-E.
They're just going to be in chairs that are just going along, with their sippy cups.
Oh God, and their big fat bellies.
Because nobody walked.
Because nobody
ever.
walks. Yeah. If you guys haven't seen that, you'll have to. It's a Disney cartoon. You'll have to check.
Pixar, actually,
you'll have to check it out, and you'll know what we're talking about.
So what's the second thing?
Anyway, yeah. So we have a lot of drive-throughs. Drive-through everything.
Drive-through everything.
Yeah. Drive-through pharmacies. Yeah. And the next thing is kind of goes with the drive-throughs. Fast food. I think fast food is quintessentially American. I don't know. I can't think of any other countries like fast food chains.
Yeah.
I mean, if you go to other countries in the world, you're going to see American fast food places around.
Well,
especially McDonald's, probably KFC. So I think fast food is, and again, that goes along with the drive-thrus because they have drive-thrus.
Yeah, that goes along with them, yeah.
But yeah, I think that's quintessentially American. And my last one is really, really random.
What's your last thing?
But I can't think of anywhere else. Like if you saw this in a movie, you would know they were in America before anybody spoke or anything. The yellow school bus.
Oh, yes.
Right? That's quintessentially American.
That. Yeah.
It's pretty random, but I mean, if you were watching a television show or a film, I was thinking, okay, and that yellow school bus pulled up, you would know it was set in America. Yeah. Okay, they're in America.
And it's funny because I think we've asked people and they go, "Oh, I thought they had them everywhere." Or I thought that they were just
Americans think that.
Yeah, I think Americans do think that.
Yeah, I guess I
thought they had them everywhere. And I was like, nope.
Yeah, I guess I never.
So, what do your school buses look like then? Just regular buses, regular old like
a city bus.
Like a city bus, or like a.
Do they have specific...
Or like a Greyhound? The ones in my school.
Do they even have like school buses that'll come pick you up from your, maybe.
It'll be like at a stop. Yeah, I mean, the school I went to, Bringwin, definitely did. Yeah. And they were like coaches.
Oh yeah, God. You people are fancy.
It wasn't fancy. Coaches are like, they had. Do you remember watching that show? Don't Forget the Driver.
Yeah.
And there was like a coach company, and he said, "Oh, I don't want to do the school run. That's so and so's job."
I assumed that was going to be like maybe for a field trip or something like that.
No. It's a school run every day. Picking up the kids and taking them home at 3:00 and.
That's a fancy bus to ride.
It's not fancy at all. Those old things.
You have been on an American school bus. You don't have seatbelts.
No, I mean...
Sometimes there's seatbelts, but they're shoved way down in the seat. Nobody uses them. So if that bus crashes, you are going to die.
Oh, that's one thing we have to look up, research, I suppose. Who decided that they were going to be yellow and they were going to be specifically school buses?
I don't know. You do also
Was it the school district that pays for them?
You do also see them. It's the same bus, but it's painted white, and there will be like kind of... caged type barring on the windows.
So like
prison transport. But it's the same type of bus.
So yeah, I mean it's the same sort of thing, isn't it? School and prisons, isn't it?
School and prison, yeah. But they have
you could interchange the two, and you'd still the same thing.
The seats are like vinyl or leather. I don't know. So you stick to them in the summer. There's no air conditioning on those things.
Yeah, in Texas,
that's absolutely miserable. Yeah. Freezing to death. There's no heating either, I don't think, in the winter.
No, there is some heating on the. I mean, I never took the school bus. I always walked. My house wasn't that far from school, so
I would think that most houses in Britain are not that far from the school.
Sometimes no. So, I mean,
that's another episode.
It's another episode altogether. But no, I've been on coaches.
Yeah.
Oh well, you have too, like National Express type things. But I mean, these are kind of like the ones that take you to school are kind of like old-fashioned coaches, kind of like the Magical Mystery Tour bus.
Okay, yeah.
They were built in the 70s or 80s.
Yeah, because you've been on one over here.
I've been on a school bus over here, yeah, and that was pretty cool. We were going to like the fair or something, or the Christmas lights or something.
Yeah.
But in Britain, it's like an old coach. It's not like the National Express coaches. Those are a little bit bigger. And they take you up and down the country. This is in Britain now. But the ones who take you to school, they're kind of like old, long, kind of like 70s, 80s type coaches, you know.
Yeah.
Old model type ones, you know, with like the cloth seats.
Oh, okay. I was going to tell a story, but I think we'll do a school series.
We'll do a school series, and you'll enjoy it.
Okay, let's hear your three
American.
American.
my three American, as it happens, my first one was, I mean, you're going to see this now, but I
won't.
My first one was drive-through.
Oh.
Too. I was going to say it, but, you know.
Drive-throughs, that's
So we've
funny.
covered it. We've covered all that, you know, and I'm just like, yeah, I think it was one of the first things I noticed when I got here was, all the drive-through. Drive-through everything, the banks, and, you know, it's just like nobody was really wanting to get out of their car. And I mean, in the Texas heat, it's fine, you know, you got air conditioning and all that in your car, and you just don't want to get out because it's so hot. And it is hot here. It's so hot. And in the summer, in the winter too, I suppose, as well, but drive through everything, you know, like, I mean, I expected the drive through McDonald's and fast food and stuff, you know, because we'd had that in Britain, but yeah, drive through banks, the pharmacy, the liquor store. Yeah, I can't think of anywhere else now.
They've got drive-through, I don't know if you can call it a drive-through, but drive-through, like, insurance adjusters also.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so if you've been hit by another car and your car is still drivable, you can drive up to your insurance agent and they'll come out. You don't have to get out, you know. You make the appointment, I'm assuming, so they know when you're going to be there. But they come out and look at your car. You don't ever have to go.
One thing it's like they don't have a drive-through of fast food-wise over here is Sonic. It's a drive-up. It's kind of like those old-fashioned 1950s drive-ups, you know, where you just press the button and someone comes out and roller skates. That's what they were trying to do. I mean, we haven't been to one in a while, but they don't seem to do the roller skates anymore.
I think it's up to the people.
They want to get on roller skates,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean that was something that is kind of quintessentially American. That's kind of been modernized over here, I suppose. But yeah, drive through everything.
Yeah,
we've covered that. My number 2 is cheerleaders.
Oh yeah,
that's quintessentially American because I've never seen anyone else do that, and I mean.
Apparently
I actually don't.
Britain now.
They have it in Britain, but I don't see the point of them. Really,
just to get the crowd. Like,
I think it's more to do with the fact that, you know, some pervy old man thought them up, because they're all women, they're all teenage girls, and they're all in like skimpy outfits and dresses, and it's just like, oh, to get the crowd going. It's like, well, the crowd's already going. It's for the game, you know. They're just enjoying the game. They don't need to see girls waving pom-poms around going, let's go, team.
I think the idea is when the team is down. When the team's down, they're not playing great, they're losing a bit, and the crowd starts to get more quiet because it's just like, yeah, we've lost this, you know. The cheerleaders try to keep the crowd going, no, come on, you can do it, whatever, it's to pump the team back up then.
Oh, it's to pump the team back up.
Well, the team gets pumped up if they hear the crowd going, yeah, you know.
I suppose so.
In theory, yeah.
In theory.
You've been to... My niece plays softball. You've been to her softball
game. She doesn't have
cheerleaders
or
anything. No, but sometimes it's just like you can tell they're not interested in playing if the crowd's just totally
it's just a game
silent.
At the end of the day, you know. It's just like you don't need to put that much thought into it. You don't need to put cheerleaders on the thing. I still think it's a bit sinister, that whole cheerleading thing. As is the next thing, actually, on my list. Summer camp.
Summer camp.
What's that all about?
That's funny. You don't have summer camp?
No, I never... I mean, Butlin's holiday camp is the thing I can think of, but people go there for like a vacation.
Like families, though,
it's families, yeah. It's not for kids. I mean, I don't think there is anything like this in Britain. I mean, I might be wrong.
Let us know. Tweet us or Facebook us or something.
I never heard of it when I was a kid or anything like that. I never, we're sending you away to camp for the summer, you know.
I mean, I never went to camp because camp costs a lot of money. And
it's like, it's just to get rid of your kids for a summer, isn't it?
Well, yeah. No, it's to keep them, like, entertained. It's to keep them socializing. It's to keep them, like, in the school kind of mode, really, because I think you have to get up at camp and you've got activities planned and you still have counselors. So you still have, you know, like if you work, if both parents work and your kid is kind of small,
true,
you don't want to leave them at home all day, you know, by themselves. So it's like camp is a good alternative. I think you can.
It's a good, I suppose so. Yeah,
they're still around other kids. They're like they're being active. You know, they're being creative a lot of the times. They've got a camp for absolutely everything over here.
Camp,
like they've got
band camp,
space camp, band camp. Yeah, I mean they do, but yeah, it makes me think of American Pie, obviously.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's you know, and it's just like, you know, I don't want to go to places like that. You know,
but they've got like space camp, they've got like rock camp. I mean, you know, if you were a kid over here in America and you were like wanting to play the guitar or whatever, like, go to rock camp and play with
they're kind of like seminars.
Kids.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so sure there's something like it in Britain, but I can't think of it. I mean, when I was growing up, I never heard of anything like it. You know, that was something that was quintessentially a summer camp, you know. I mean, we're watching Stranger Things season 3 at the moment.
Yeah.
And Dustin just got back from camp, and I was just thinking, yeah, that's just something that goes on over here, you know. It's like, you know, it feels like you're still at school, really, you know. Yeah. So you want to get away from these people. You want to just have a summer on your own, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, let's move on to British? 3 things that are quintessentially British.
Okay, so you want to start that one?
I'll start it off, yeah. Number 1 I've got is pub culture and, well, / banter.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of quintessentially British for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, we don't have anything like...
The banter. Yeah, great banter.
We don't have anything like pub culture in America, really.
No, I mean, you know, I suppose there's like bar culture if you go to bars and stuff, but pub culture, it's different because people go to a pub and it's like it's a public house. That's what it's short for. So you go in
there to hang out.
You go in there to hang out. You can have like a drink or something.
I mean,
you
just
chat.
Coffee houses.
Coffee houses are the similar sort of thing.
Over here.
But.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I mean, people don't really talk to each other at like Starbucks is. I mean, again, Starbucks has taken that over.
Well, the thing about but I don't know. You can't really call Starbucks a coffee house.
That's what they've tried to be, though.
Starbucks is like people go in there and they get on their laptops or whatever.
Yeah, they get on their laptops, getting their earphones in, and they're working.
A coffee house.
Writing a novel.
Here in Austin, we have a coffee house called the Spider House Coffee or something like that. Yeah. And it's a similar thing. But what I was going to say is that's sort of specific to big cities over here. You're not going to find a coffee house in like a small town in the Texas Panhandle. Yeah. You know, whereas you're going to find a pub in every small town in Britain.
But also, yeah, and that's just reminding me, in Britain we have a cafe culture.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like caf. Yeah.
I don't think it's as big
It's not as big as America, but there is definitely like...
No, I don't think it's as big as your pub culture.
No, it's nowhere near as big as the pub culture, but people go to like... You know, I remember like cafe, people going to the cafe, you know, like my dad would do it. You know, I know he goes to the pub and everything, but he would go to a cafe, you know, for a coffee.
Yeah.
Or a tea, as it was. And, you know, there'd be like people there. I mean, I think
cafe... I consider cafes more European than British, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a seep-through because, I mean, it started in the 50s, though, like... People would go and get cafes in London.
I think of it French,
hip.
Actually.
It's very hip.
I see like a French...
Hip and beatniks and stuff would hang around. Yeah, I mean, that kind of like took off. Like all the folk clubs, all the folk music scene kind of burgeoned on in the cafes around London and stuff, you know. And, but yeah, the caf, as they call it. you'd usually go in and it'd be like someone brewing like loads of tea and you know, you get a bacon sandwich, you know.
But the pub
is the bigger draw, yeah.
Quintessentially British.
Yes, the pub is something different, you know. It's like, oh, it's just like going to a bar. No, it isn't.
You hear pub and you think Britain.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's
down the pub.
Yeah.
Next is tea drinking.
Oh yeah.
Tea drinking is a big culture thing over in Britain. It's like, put the kettle on.
Hot tea.
Polly, put the kettle on. Hot tea, yes.
I was going to add that one to my list, and then I thought, you do associate it with Britain, but China is big on their tea as well.
China? Yeah, I mean, that's where it all comes from.
Yeah, so
China, India,
is it
you know.
Quintessentially British? Because China's big on their hot tea also, so I decided to leave it off.
The tea drinking, I guess the culture of putting the kettle on and
with
stuff.
With the little teapot and...
The little brown teapot that's mass-produced. And,
I don't know about brown. To me,
it's a brown teapot. It's always a brown teapot. And the tea cozy. You didn't even know what that was. You thought it was a hat.
I don't think I've ever seen a tea cozy still
What?
in person, no.
You never saw my grand's tea cozy?
I don't think so.
I remember I used to wear it as a hat when I was a kid. My gran used to crack up. Because I was like, oh, there's a big hole in it. There's 2 big holes in it. I was like, yeah, it's for the teapot, you numpty. You know, like,
your grand didn't say that. No, when I think of British tea, I think of a fancy little flowery, fat little teapot, and then little teacups
like
and tea saucers. Like Alice in Wonderland, like Beauty and the Beast, the, Mrs. What was her name? Angela Lansbury.
Angela Lansbury,
Mrs. Potts, wasn't that her name
Mrs.
or something?
Pot. Yeah, Mrs. Pot.
Potts, I think.
And he was like the chipped cup and saucer or something.
Yeah, I think of like little fancy ceramic, like...
Yeah, but I mean...
Yeah, and then holding your pinky up when you drink out of the teacup and put it back down on the saucer.
Yeah, that's polite company, that is, you know.
Tea and biscuits, that would have been more British.
Yeah, that's true. Dunking.
Yeah.
The dunk. That would have been more... That's more like it, yeah.
Yeah.
Tea drinking, tea and biscuits, yeah, that's more like it. But yeah, that's what I think of, you know, every house has a kettle.
Yeah, it is definitely
in
British.
Britain. Yeah. My next one, my third and final one, is nitpicking. And I'm going to give you an example. Cream or jam first.
Oh, God.
And what a pie should be called. You know, God, that kind of stuff. Britain is a tiny island that's made up of so many people and so many, like, accents and dialects and everything, you know, just within one country even.
Yeah.
So, like, in the north, they'll call a pie something different, I don't know, or a roll. Actually, it's a bread roll. What do you call this where you're from? I've seen those memes going around the internet. And, you know, people go, oh, it's a barm cake, or it's a chip cob, or it's a, you know, a butty, or whatever, you know. It's just like a different word for it. And, you know, it's like nitpicking. No, it's like, it's nitpicking over arguing, I guess, should be more of a thing. But, you know, it's just kind of like, you know, nitpicking over what should the cream go on first or the jam.
Oh, God.
On a scone, this is for a scone. The clotted cream first, or jam first, then clotted cream. And it's like, no, Devon and Cornwall have this big rivalry over how it's supposed to be made and all this kind of stuff. It's just like, you know...
Does it matter?
It doesn't matter. I mean, you could say, like, you know, people from America could go, no, it's a diaper, not a nappy, or no, it's a hood, not a bonnet, you know, and trunk, not a boot.
French fries, not chips.
French fries, not chips. Yeah, that's another thing, you know, whereas, like, everybody in Britain would agree with its chips, you know. But, you know, it's like within... I don't know if that exists over here, really, you know.
People arguing about...
What
American
things should be
things.
called, yeah, you know, like should, you know, whatever, you know. I can't think of anything.
Soda and pop or
Soda
Coke.
and pop.
But people don't really argue about it, I don't think. They just go, oh, you call it that?
So
or
inflamed. I mean, on the internet, you see them all come out, you know, and you see them all start up over it, and they get so wound up over it. And it's just like, why are you getting so wound up over this? It's just like, put the jam on first, put the cream on first.
It tastes the same.
It tastes the bloody same, for crying out loud.
Yes.
But yes. It's just like people just go on and on and on about things until, there's no time left. Like we're doing now. We're just going on and on about quintessentially British things. I mean, we've done like 3... Oh, you haven't done yours yet.
No,
you haven't done yours yet, have you?
My 3 British things, yeah. Again, they're like random, I think, because the first thing that came to mind, quintessentially British, and I don't know why really, but Rolls-Royce. I just think of that as being so British, particularly the old model, like kind of the style that John Lennon
Phantom,
had, or,
the Phantom,
or maybe even older, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too up on the mod.
You think like Downton Abbey, or you just see that and you think, oh, that does not belong in America.
That's my car. Yeah, Erica wants. If anybody out there has got an old Rolls Royce that's still in working order, and can ship it to America, please do it, because Erica would like it. She would love a Rolls Royce. Can you imagine that parked out here?
But you see that, or I do anyway. I see that, and I just think that belongs in front of like
stately home.
Yeah, it doesn't belong in America. It looks.
I don't think I've ever seen one in America.
Yeah, there are people over here who.
I mean, there's Rolls Royce over
cars.
here, but it's like classic.
The new ones, you mean?
Yeah, but when they collect classic cars, they collect classic American cars, like.
No, some people collect old ones like that. Yeah, you can see them sometimes in
Ford Thunderbird or whatever.
Yeah,
they're cool. No, they're cool. Going down the road, you see them.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't know. I just think Rolls Royce is like, reminds me of royalty, reminds me of
aristocracy.
Yeah.
Just in the back of your Rolls Royce, like
up to like horse races or something in their things, and getting escorted out of their cars and big hats and stuff. I don't know. It just looks British to me, the Rolls Royce. But I have liked them ever before I even knew that they were British, as a kid, anyway. Driving on the opposite side of the road is my next one.
I mean, it happens in a few countries,
but only in countries that were originally colonized by Britain,
and haven't really let that go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think
because the driving, it didn't stay over here because that was before cars and stuff.
Yeah.
That independence was declared, but like colony. I think the last colonies and stuff were like gone in the 50s. I mean, the last British colony you could say that was ever gone, Hong Kong was 1997.
Yeah, and they do drive on the opposite side.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
China's trying to get more influence there now. I mean, it belongs to China now, but there's still a hangover from the colonial days.
Don't they? When I wrote this down, I was thinking, wait a minute, I think they drive on the opposite side in some parts of Japan also. And I don't think you guys ever had Japan.
No.
I seem to think I've seen that somewhere. I could be wrong. If anybody's listening and knows which side of the road they drive on in Japan, let us know. Tweet us or something. Because I might have that wrong. I don't know.
I have it wrong. I mean, I've never heard of it. I mean, maybe it does.
In Australia. Yeah. So it's all like British places.
All former British colonies, yeah. I mean, I don't know if it does. No, not in India. I don't think. Maybe they switched it in India.
I don't know.
But yeah. Some parts of South Africa.
Yeah, so you only associate that with Britain, really. Yeah. I think driving on the opposite side of the road. Driving on the wrong side of the road, some people would say. British people drive on the wrong side of the road. We drive on the right side of the road, and British people drive on the wrong side of the road. And then my third one is like super, super obvious, and maybe they eat it someplace else, but when you hear of fish and chips, you only really associate that with Britain.
Fish, chips, and mushy peas.
Yeah, I mean, I can't think of... If somebody said, let's go for fish and chips, I would think...
I was thinking about putting that on my list, too, as like the third one.
What made you not?
Because I just thought it's too obvious.
Too obvious?
It's like, yeah, I mean, that's kind of like a thing. Fish and chips.
But it is so British,
It is. I mean, because we're an island, there's so much...
I wonder if they do... I mean, I wonder if you guys invented that or if it came from
fried
somewhere
fish
else.
and chips. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, eating the combination together and just the way that you get it over there and everything.
Yeah,
you know?
wrapped in newspaper. Well, it's
Paper,
not
yeah.
wrapped in newspaper anymore, but
it's in. But it will
it's
be
in
in
paper.
paper.
Yeah, it could be
inside
in
the
paper inside the
or
container.
whatever.
Yeah.
But it just looks very British, and I don't know. I don't think of anywhere else. You know.
I mean, I can't think of anywhere else either. I mean, over here, I mean, they've got like Long John Silver's, and maybe on some of the East Coast, up in the Pacific Northwest, even on coastal places.
They wouldn't think of Britain, like if they were like, let's go
for fish and chips. Yeah, because I don't know.
Maybe they're so used to it up there, but I mean, that's where it came from.
Yeah, I mean, that's yeah.
Yeah, it would have come from Britain.
Yeah.
So it's not like. But anyway, those are my 3. Let us know by tweeting us or on our Facebook group. And we are Butty in both places, TEABUTTY. Let us know what your 3 quintessential American or quintessential British things would be.
Yeah.
And they can be anything.
Let us know.
Yeah. Doesn't have to be food. Doesn't have to be, it can just be whatever. It could be sayings.
Could be sayings.
Yeah, use your imagination.
Like, how's your father? And the whatchamacallit. Well, whatchamacallit's kind of...
Whatchamacallit, we say over here, yeah.
Whatchamacallit.
The thingamajig.
The how's your father.
But yeah, let us know. And as always, share us.
Share us.
Like us.
Like us.
Follow us.
Follow us.
Do all the things.
Do all the things.
And we'll talk to you next time.
Talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.